I do wonder about the celebrity class when it comes to what's happening at the campuses across America. They seem to be falling on the side of the protesters. We've seen Susan Sarandon lead chants yesterday in Lefties Losing It. We played clips from the chat show The View. Multiple hosts there were very strongly defending the protesters and blaming the media for painting them as violent and anti-Semitic. And today was a MSNBC anchor, Chris Hayes, who tweeted, "I feel like I'm losing my mind a little. People understand that occupying buildings on campus is like one of the most common forms of student protest for decades and not some devious new ploy devised by professional anarchist plotters, right?" He just doesn't get it, does he? I mean, but there is this fracture amongst the left, because when the BLM riots were happening, it seemed the entire establishment, from Hollywood to sporting leagues to the corporates, were standing with the mostly peaceful protesters. There's certainly a little bit of fracturing happening amongst the left, but you can't deny that these students have plenty of support, particularly from their college professors and administrators.
Yeah, look, there's no question about it. And people ask me, why is this happening on campuses? I think the answer is very simple. And you hit it right there, Rita, when you said about the professors and the administrators. Look, this is no secret that the professors, the school itself, the administrators, they've been pushing this garbage for years, Rita. It's garbage in, garbage out. How are we surprised? Of course, if you have a student that comes into as a freshman on a campus, now, unfortunately, they're not really instilled with values by their parents, so they come in as empty vessels. And what do? They listen to these professors day in and day out talk about the oppression of Israel, the oppression of the United States. This is nothing new. This is stuff that was taught to me when I was in school. I'm sure it was taught to you, Rita, when you were in school. So, of course, how are they going to react to it any differently than what their professors told them? And then all of a sudden, the schools are aghast. How could it be that these students are taking a violent approach? Or if you tell them that the height of evil is the oppression of people below you, and that Israel and the U.S. are engaging in that behavior, what do you expect them to do? Of course they are. And they engage in violence, and they won't allow Jews to attend schools. Could you imagine? I don't have to imagine. We have historical reference. When people in the U.S. wouldn't allow Black people to go to school, the country went crazy, and they should, and we created laws to protect them. How is this? I don't understand how this is any different, Rita. You know, even more sick and disgusting was just last night, I was at Columbia when they were clearing out the pro-terrorist Hamas supporters from the schools. And there are all these protesters around there. Now, remember, the NYPD is majority minority. It's a mostly Black, Hispanic police force. And what were these people chanting? You are race traitors. You are disgusting. Use the N-word against these police officers who were there.
I'm with you there. Now, the protesters at UCLA are demanding the most hilarious list of supplies, Ami. They want this stuff delivered to them as they continue their illegal encampment. Stuff like hot food, which was labelled important, vegan, of course. They wanted vegan supplies. They also want lotion, zip ties and rope. Sounds like a party. What sort of a decolonisation revolution is this, Ami?
Yeah, I mean, I always like to have some Aquaphor when my skin feels a little bit rough, right? I totally understand that. Totally get why they would want Aquaphor and lotion. Do you remember in Columbia, there was that student who stood up there, and behind her was that dude in the belly shirt, showed up his ripped abs, and she was talking about how we need humanitarian aid. We need Uber Eats.
Yeah, they were going to starve.
Oh my God. Do they have an ounce of self-awareness? Do they really not understand they're a parody of themselves? This is ridiculous. Ridiculous, Rita.